How is it going today, guys? I got a pretty cool one for you guys today. This is an old cemetery in Quebradillas, Puerto Rico. And this is an extra special cemetery. It's been a long time since somebody's been buried here, and it's not necessarily abandoned, but the gates are locked and hardly anybody comes to visit this cemetery anymore. And I got permission from the municipality today to check it out. And see over here, there's a iguana just kind of chilling. I scared him out of the bushes when I first showed up. He wasn't expecting me. He definitely isn't used to people being around. See how close I can get to him before I spook him. Very cool little guy though, huh? Yep, there he goes in the bushes. Anyways, this is an old Gothic, like French style cemetery, and it's got quite a bit of history to it. I believe this is like the original cemetery for the town of Quebradillas, and a lot of the people that were buried here were people that built some of the first infrastructure in this area, including like the famous Quebradillas tunnel and whatnot. And then there was like a outbreak of some kind back in the day that also claimed a number of lives, and they're buried here as well. Yeah, this is a really old cemetery. You're not going to really see many names anymore or anything. I'm going to try to walk through here, but it's been raining pretty heavy, and so I think it's pretty dang wet, but we're going to try. It's been pretty stormy in Puerto Rico the last couple days. I've been stuck inside of my apartment, and grateful that I have an apartment, because I don't know if I would have made it if I would have been on an adventure sleeping outside. And as you can see, there's a lot of graves here, but they're just stuck in the overgrown weeds. I know the people of the municipality are going to be down here soon when it dries up a little bit, and they're going to cut this down, but it's just been so rainy the past week or two that it just doesn't make much sense to come out here with a weed whacker. Got these cool old Gothic lights here in the middle. Just so unique and awesome. It really is. I'm glad there's this concrete path, or I would have really been screwed trying to walk through here. A lot of glare from the sun too, but it just is what it is. There's probably something right here too back in the day. I don't know, some sort of light fixture was maybe attached to that. Some old tombs down here, and like I said, it's just so old that there is no inscription anymore. Quebradillas gets hit by the rain pretty good, so they have a hard time dealing with just the weather, as is the typical case with cemeteries in Puerto Rico. The tropical areas just weren't cut out for the Catholic style burial system like we've talked about. It's just too humid and wet, and there's really not much the municipalities can do after a while. This stuff's just gonna wear and tear over time, and it's hard to come up with the funds to keep coming here and fixing this stuff. And plus, they have a much larger concern on their hands when you look at the municipal cemetery here in Quebradillas. Like, I mean, it is crazy how big and packed it is. And if you want to see that, just go back and look at previous episodes in my channel, because the municipal cemetery in Quebradillas is one of my favorite cemeteries on the island. It's just chock full of like beautiful graves and whatnot. This isn't a very big cemetery, but I don't think there was a huge population here back in the day when the city was first being put together. So this is an example of what like the original cemeteries here in Puerto Rico looked like back in the day before the population explosions, where they had to move the cemetery somewhere else, to somewhere like, you know, a larger place for more people. Yeah, just like the rest of them, you're not gonna get any names from these tombs. So I'm not even sure like really who's buried here. I tried looking at like find a grave and a lot of the stuff that I normally look at, and nothing. I tried looking at just any sort of historical records I can find online, and I mean, there's just nothing, you guys. So this grave's just being swallowed up by nature, as you can see. I am going to regret walking through all of this later. I got about a 6-hour walk back to my apartment, and my legs are going to be itchy as hell. They already are though, so screw it. I left at 3:30 this morning so I can get here at a reasonable time and try to make contact with the municipality to get permission to come here. Because yeah, I did have to hop the fence, and I really wasn't going to do that in such a public place without getting permission, you know. So I feel much more comfortable now, because if anybody comes and asks me what the heck I'm doing, I could tell them, hey, I got permission. See some more really old tombs here, and all the inscriptions are gone. I have no freaking clue who's buried here. I mean, just not a clue, no names. There is a pretty interesting ghost story that has to do with this cemetery though. Legend has it there's like this, the locals can hear this French woman at night crying in this cemetery because she lost her 1-year-old baby to one of the outbreaks that they had here in Quebradillas. And so the locals call it a haunted cemetery, and if you come here at night, you can hear her crying and singing old French lullabies to her little baby. I thought that was pretty interesting. It's one of the things that really drew me to this cemetery, because when I was in Quebradillas last and I got done filming and photographing the municipal cemetery, I walked by this cemetery and I was like, wow, this is interesting, but like I said, it was locked up and I couldn't just get to it, so I decided to skip it. My foot just went a foot into the ground, so I got to be careful how I walk around here, because your foot will just sink into the ground. Look at this old tomb, you guys. It's just amazing. I just live to come to places like this. That is so awesome. Trying to remember what kind of outbreak happened back in the day here in Quebradillas that caused a lot of the people that are buried here to be buried here, but I can't remember off the top of my head. And this is definitely like one of the older cemeteries in Puerto Rico. This is definitely, in my opinion, I would say in the top 10 oldest cemeteries on the island. There's a town called Manatee that's about a 9-hour walk from here, so about a 45-minute drive, maybe a 1-hour drive away from here. And I believe it's actually the oldest cemetery in Puerto Rico. And then you have the really old cemetery in Mayagüez, and then of course you have the Castle Cemetery in San Juan. But gosh, this cemetery's got to be up there. It's just got to be. Some more tombs. Very Gothic style cemetery as well here. It's definitely unique in that sense. The tombs are just really unique compared to a lot of the tombs in the rest of the island. Like, this is the only cemetery where I've seen tombs that are shaped like this. And if any of you guys that are watching this know the significance of it, go ahead and let me know and put a comment on this video and I upload it. And what is this here? Is this an obelisk? I believe that's what they're called, obelisks. Just kind of a cool little park area to come and sit down while you're visiting your loved ones. But yeah, when you compare this cemetery to the cemetery down the street, you can definitely get an idea of how much the population has grown over the years. And I'm sure you're hearing plenty of Puerto Rico in the background. I am like right in the middle of the town, so usually cemeteries like this were just completely removed, and like the bodies would be taken to the new municipal cemeteries, and you know, spaces like this would be, you know, cleared out for city buildings or houses and whatnot. But for whatever reason, this cemetery survived. Because I know in Manatee, the old cemetery there isn't really the oldest cemetery. The oldest cemetery is by the plaza and the church, but they moved it. And like I said, that's usually what happens. So there's definitely something special about this cemetery that cause them to want to keep it as it is. Another awesome tomb. And I think honestly that there's plenty more tombs in here, but they're just, you can't notice them because of the weeds, and you know, they're just so old. And you have a chapel here. I wish I can get into it, but gosh, the workers in the municipality went through enough dealing with me just getting me this far, so I wasn't trying to get somebody to come here and unlock everything for me, but would have been really cool. Like the cemetery in Manatee, it was really cool getting into that chapel, and I bet you it's beautiful in here. And you can tell too that there's still some love and care that they have for this cemetery just because of the condition that the outside of this chapel is in. It looks like it's been recently painted, and gosh, I want to go in there so bad, and there's no window I can look in. Get a close up on that Jesus. That's awesome. And then do we got bees? I'm a bee enthusiast, so I'm always looking for the bees. Yep. Those definitely aren't honeybees though, so I'm gonna keep my distance. They will wreck you. Again, I wish I could go in there. Dang it. And I can't see through any of the windows here, and there's more of them. Yeah, there's a lot of bees. Holy crap. Like hornets' nests. Oh, damn. That's wild. There are a lot of bees living here. I'm gonna get away from over here before I get messed up. That's crazy. And like I said, they're not honeybees, so. Quite a few nests over here too, man. That's pretty wild. Give you guys one more good look at this cemetery. Like I said, I wish I knew more about it. go up to the entrance here. I couldn't get in through the gate because it's locked, but there's a little spot over here by this tree that I was able to get through. Damn, there's a big nest right there too. And I need to watch myself or I'll get wrecked, man. That's wild. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed my walk through, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. I'm gonna get out of here before I get messed up. Just a view from the outside of the cemetery. Looking in.